But when I was a younger man, I would have been concerned about people shorting my stock. But now I'm not, because MicroStrategy is really just providing a set of institutional instruments that institutional investors can use to tailor a portfolio that's long, short, hedged. They can sell the volatility, they can arbitrage the volatility, they can arbitrage any instrument against any other instrument, they can generate yield, they can buy insurance. Some of those people that are short, they'll short $1 billion of MicroStrategy and they'll buy $1 billion of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. MicroStrategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor explains how investors should analyze his company that's valued at more than double its underlying Bitcoin assets.
And so if we didn't exist, then billions and billions of dollars of capital from the traditional finance markets wouldn't be invested in Bitcoin because they can't buy or hold the underlying crypto asset. They can only buy securities or bonds or options or other instruments. So we become an institutional gateway for crypto exposure by all types of investors. And, my real aspiration now is, if you really hate Bitcoin, I want you to love us. Like, we're the perfect instrument to short, right? Because I promise you I won't sell it, right? We're going to be levered long Bitcoin. And if you don't like it, or if you just want to hedge it, you get to sell our stock or sell puts or buy puts, right? And the worst thing I could do is to take your side of the trade or to interfere with what you're doing. So I think part of MicroStrategy's rise to prominence in the space is we have been laser-like focused. We're very consistent. We're very transparent. We're going to buy Bitcoin, never sell Bitcoin. We're going to borrow money intelligently. If you like Manhattan, and if a company said, I'm going to borrow $5 billion at 1% interest, and I'm going to develop real estate in Manhattan, you might think that that's the kind of company you would like to invest in. But if you hate Manhattan, and we're 150% exposed to Manhattan, you get this investment thesis, like, that's the company I want to short. And the most important point in the marketplace is you just have to be very pure, true to your focus, have integrity and consistency and transparency, because it's not my job to trade, hedge, arbitrage, or construct that portfolio. There are guys with hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in a Bloomberg, and that's what they do every day. So my contract with them is, we're going to do what you can't do. We're going to buy Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin, and we're going to issue equity, and we're going to issue debt instruments, and you can't do that. We're a public company, and on the NASDAQ stock exchange in America with a nearly 30-year track record, and we have 16 billion of permanent capital. That's Bitcoin, right? So I can create an equity with 80 or 90 vol. I can have permanent capital. We can stand massive swings because of our capital structure. That's what we can do. What you can do is decide if you want to buy it, sell it, hedge it,
or short it.
During a recent appearance on the Markets with Madison podcast, which is hosted by NZ Herald journalist Madison Righty, MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor stated that Apple should consider buying $100 billion worth of Bitcoin instead of a stock buyback. Buy a $100 billion of Bitcoin. It will go to $500 billion. You'll have a $500 billion business growing 20% a year. You will make $100 billion in investment gains a year. Your investors will look at it, and they'll add $1 trillion or $2 trillion to your market cap. and now the company will be valued 60% based upon the operating business, 40% based on the balance sheet, he said. He has stressed that MicroStrategy is taking advantage of digital transformation by buying Bitcoin. MicroStrategy is, of course, the biggest holder of the leading cryptocurrency by a huge margin. According to the data provided by Bitcoin Treasuries, its total holdings currently stand at $17.1 billion worth of Bitcoin. The company's stock has been on a tear this year, adding more than 182% on a year-to-date basis. Saylor has also noted that smaller S&P 500 companies could approach big tech if they decide to gain exposure to Bitcoin. You could take the bottom 98% of the S&P 500. If they bought Bitcoin, their performance could approach the big tech. The performance of the S&P index will move toward Bitcoin, he said.
So think of MicroStrategy as we take in crude capital. There's no doubt it's the best performing asset in 15 years. It's theoretically the best form of capital is digital capital. It's just scary to a lot of people. It's too volatile. It's too difficult to manage. So they want someone that can, domesticate it, step it down, package it in safe components, and then connect it into the fixed income market, the high yield market, the convert market, and the public equity markets. And MicroStrategy, we just inadvertently backed into that, because to do what we did, you have to start with a very small company, a $1 billion company, and then we become a $40 billion company, and now we're 150% Bitcoin. So if you take another $1 billion company and do what we're doing, you can't catch us, because at this point we can grow $5-10 billion a year in capital or faster. You can't catch us if you start with the same thing. But if you take a big company like Google or Meta or Microsoft or Apple, and they took $50 billion, and they bought $50 billion of Bitcoin, well, that would be good for Bitcoin, and that would be good for their shareholders. And if Apple did it a lot, they might add $1 trillion to their market cap. But it would be $1 trillion on top of $3 trillion. So at the end of the day, Apple would be an enterprise, 25% Bitcoin, 75% Apple. MicroStrategy is an enterprise, 150% Bitcoin. So how do you create a company which is 150% Bitcoin that can sell billions of dollars of fixed income instruments or billions of equity into the market with a permanent capital base that's going to oscillate, it's going to vibrate with the frequency of Bitcoin, right? That is, I'd love to say we had the idea 4 years ago and that's what we were trying to do. No, we just kind of stumbled onto just a really great business.
With less than a month until the people of the United States decide who will represent them in the House of Representatives, Senate, and the presidency, some crypto events seem to be focused on regulation and politics. Attending the permissionless II conference in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Ripple Swell in Miami, Florida in October, noted that many panels included takes from high-level executives on their predictions for what would happen in the November race between Democrat Kamala Harris and Republican Donald Trump for the U.S. presidency, and what the outcome could mean for the industry in 2025. Whether the topics of discussion initially focused on regulation or included stablecoins or Bitcoin mining, many participants suggested that digital assets had become more of a mainstream issue in U.S. politics in 2024 in a way never before seen. Every single panel is talking about regulations. Ripple's head of U.S. public policy, Lauren Belive, told Cointelegraph at Swell on October 16, adding, "We've seen a much broader swath now of policymakers really interested in the nuances of this technology. The crypto industry has made several inroads in 2024 compared to the U.S. midterms in 2022 or the 2020 elections. During Trump's presidency from 2017 to 2021, he referred to Bitcoin as based on thin air, also calling the cryptocurrency a scam after leaving office. Both major party candidates have since made statements suggesting they intend to support the industry if elected. I do think there's a frustration in a sense that this is technology, and technology shouldn't be a political issue. It's become one in the United States," Fireblock's head of legal and compliance, Jason Allegrand, told Cointelegraph. "I think that's why people are now being much more vocal about what the potential impact of this election is." Trump gave a keynote speech at the Bitcoin 2024 conference in Nashville, Tennessee. Several presidential candidates and lawmakers also spoke at the North American Blockchain Summit in 2023, which will resume after the U.S. election on November 5. We're going to be starting in 2025 with the most educated Congress we've ever had because we have so many first-time candidates who are coming in with positions on crypto. Blockchain Association CEO Kristen Smith said at a permissionless panel on October 9. Coinbase Chief Policy Officer Fariar Shirzad added at a different panel on October 11. Regardless of what happens in the elections, we will have a very significantly advanced debate around the crypto issues and a very large cohort of members of the House and the Senate who will now come in with brand new pro-crypto voices. And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Zella. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.